Morning everyone, it's Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42. It's one of those mornings I'm just having issues, and so I'm starting over again. It's what I do. It is Monday, middle of April. Is it the 12th? It's the 12th. It is Monday the 12th of April 2021. Welcome to my Flosstube channel, where I am going to talk about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. 42. Not take 42, take 2. Okay. I was watching Bobby, who is Pumpkin Creek Primitives, on Flosstube, and I had to giggle when I was watching her last video because she commented that people say the name of her channel wrong all the time, or they stumble over it, I should say. I have had people stumble over Stitchy Witch 42 so many times. It is what it is. I think it's an easy name. I remember it. Bobby, I remember that you are Pumpkin Creek Primitives. It is what it is. But the reason that I'm bringing Bobby up is because on her last video, I discovered that she and I are going to be going to a virtual retreat this summer, the same virtual retreat this summer. I signed up for Frogwarts Year 2, and Bobby is going to be there. So I hadn't signed up for this last year. I didn't know what it was. I was lazy. Last year was 2020, and that says everything. I had such high hopes for 2020. I don't know why. It was what it was. But anyway, we're going to be doing Frogwarts Year 2 virtual retreat put on by the Black Needle Society. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. So she asked me if I knew what house I had been sorted into, and yes, I do. I'm a Gryffindor. I've known from the beginning that I am a Gryffindor. And Gryffindor is not necessarily the home of the brave to me. For me, it's the home of I'm going to rush in and try to do something that I don't know how to do, and if it works, yay. And if it doesn't, at least I tried, and maybe I can learn from it. Because it's kind of sort of how I do things all the time. All the time. So, there's one of my shout-outs. You see, I don't do my videos in any set order, and I don't break it up by shout-outs and whips and this and that. And I don't explain what whips mean, because all of these things, to me, means that we're having a conversation. I'm doing my side of the conversation right now. When you comment on my video, that's your side of the conversation. And if I say something that you don't understand, you can ask me a question, and that's how our conversation begins. So I may not explain every acronym. I may not do my video in broken down order, this, that, and the other. You're visiting, and we're talking. And as any conversation goes, it goes this way and that way and this way and that way, and we have a conversation. So that's what we're doing. All right. On my last video, I had said that my daughter Erin had COVID, and she did. And a couple of days later, she let me know that the rest of the family also had COVID. My son-in-law and both of my granddaughters had very mild symptoms, mostly fatigue and sniffling. And when my daughter told me that, you have to understand that I had to giggle, because teenagers, fatigue and sniffling, isn't that what they do when they're teenagers? They sleep all the time and they sniffle. The whole family is good. My daughter was doing much better a couple of days after the initial onset of COVID. She still did not have much of a sense of smell a week and a half later. But they're all doing fine. And thank you to everybody who asked about them. I really do appreciate that. Alrighty. I got berry obsessed. I got berry obsessed with berries. It just kind of happened because everybody was talking about them and seeing them, and I needed berries. On Instagram, I follow Under the Woolen Willow. I have to stop and think about that because I always want to call them Under the Woolen Mill. I don't know why. It's Under the Woolen Willow. And they said that they were going to have a summer berry club. You could sign up between April 1st and April 30th. So if you follow them on Instagram, you still have time to join this if you choose to do so. And for $40, that's $25 to purchase and $15 for shipping and handling, you're going to receive 3 strawberries, 1 in June, 1 in July, 1 in August. And I thought, I could do that. I've seen people who've had them in their decoration, and I'm trying to get stuff to put back here for decorating, and berries would be cute. And then I was watching Lisa, who is Prims on Greenway. It was the first time I had watched her, and she had some beautiful finishes that she was sharing. But at the end of it, she showed a berry. She showed a black velvet berry, and I was like, I need a black velvet berry. I do. I need a black velvet berry. I didn't know that I needed it until just then, but I need a black velvet berry. And then a couple of days later, a couple hours later, a couple minutes later, I don't know when, but at some point on my Flosstube viewing history, I got to watching Michelle, MommalovesyouGB, and she was showing some fantastic finishes too. And then she showed some felt carrots that she had made, and those were really cute. And then she showed some berries that she had made. So now it's in my head. I have seen it in 3 different locations. I've seen it from Under the Woolen Willow. I've seen it from Lisa, Prims on Greenway. I've seen it from Michelle, MommalovesyouGB. Berries. I need berries. I'm going to be berry obsessed until I have some berries. So last Tuesday, I went to Hobby Lobby. I went to Hobby Lobby because I know that I have bought wool felt there before. But when I was in the fabric section and I asked them if they had any wool felt, the lady goes, well, there's some bolts of felt over against the wall. And I went over, I looked at the bolts, and they intimidated me because they were bolts. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how to make berries. I don't know if I want to buy bolt fabric to make berries. Let's go see what's in the craft section. So I went over to the craft section, and that's where you can buy the crafting felt, or fake felt as I call it. And the fake felt for a 9 by 12 sheet of fake felt is 33 cents a piece. I can spend 33 cents a piece to make berries when I don't know what I'm going to be doing or how they're going to turn out. When I got up to the check stand, it was only 16 cents a piece, so that's even better. But then while I was looking around Hobby Lobby and I got over into their summer section, I found a terry cloth towel with strawberries on it. So that got put in my basket. And then I walked around to the other side of the aisle and I found a pink cloth napkin that the weave looked like it was woven. So I grabbed that too. Then I went over to Joann's and I bought some plaid fabric and some black velvet. And then I went and I got some lace and some ribbons for trim, and I came home to see if I could make berries. Last year and a half ago, something like that, I'm thinking 2019, I stitched Erica Michael's Scary Berry. And on the back of her patterns there is a template for the fabric if you use the right, that size. Yeah, I can talk really good today. There is a template on the back of the pattern that you can use for cutting out your fabric to stitch your berry together. I asked Mark if he would make a template for me. Now in my mind I was thinking he was going to use the mat board and cut out a template for me, but no. Mark went and got a piece of plexiglass out of his shop, and I now have a template that is 1/4 of an inch thick, and I will be able to use it to make berries forever. And I have all my fake felt and other fabrics to try to make some berries. So last Tuesday, I made some berries. So my first berry, I used the medium colored red fake felt and cut it out, stitched up the back, filled it, did the running stitch around it, and then I thought, how do I make the cap? And I went back and I looked at Scary Berry, and she had said to make a round circle, put that on top of it, and then you can put a button or whatever else it is that you want on top of it. Well, in my journaling supplies up there, I have a 1-inch hole punch, and I thought to myself, you can use the 1-inch hole punch to cut the felt to make the cap of your berry. No, you can't. What you will do is you will jam that 1-inch hole punch. And then if you're like me, you're going to spend the next 20 minutes trying to get that 1-inch hole punch to pop open so you can get the felt that you have jammed into it out of it. The next idea was use that 1-inch hole punch and cut out a template from a piece of manila folder and use that. Yeah. So I did. I then decided that I wanted to have some edges around the top of that. So I cut them out, and it didn't really look leafy to me, but it'll do. And then I looked into my very small supply of buttons, and I stitched a brass button on top of it, and I didn't like that at all. So then I went and I got some of my Lady Dot chenille, and I stitched that onto the top of it, and I have my first berry. There's the top. The brass button is still there, the Lady Dot chenille, but that was my first berry. So I've got berry number 1 done. I'm going to try to make berry number 2. And I took the darkest red that I have. I then used my round template to cut out the cap on the top. But instead of trimming the top, I just tacked it down, and again I used some more Lady Dot chenille, and I have berry number 2. So, I'm into making berries. They are very simple to do. I thought I need to try making a bigger berry. So I put my template down on the felt, and then I moved it up some, and I traced around it, but I added some to it because I wanted a bigger berry. This time, instead of the felt cap on top, I stitched some black lace. So this is berry number 3, again with the Lady Dot chenille on the top, but that's berry number 3. 3 different shades of red. So now that I know that I can make berries, I am going to use the terry cloth towel. I don't know if you've ever heard me say this before. I can sew, but I'm not a seamstress. This berry proves it. Anna, don't hate me. Colleen, Cheryl, I'm sorry. Lisa, Lori, all my quilting friends, don't hate me for this. I put my terry cloth towel down on my cutting board, slapped that 1/4-inch plexiglass template on top of it, cut it out, stitched it up, and I realized I hadn't thought about the placement of the fabric, so I had a leaf on the front of the berry. Yeah, Gryffindors. We run in and do things, and it may or may not be right. Yeah. So the second time I turned the fabric over so that it was face up, put my template down on top of it, and the nice thing is because it's plexiglass I can see through it, and I found what I wanted to have on the front of my berry, and this is berry number 3. This is terry cloth. I put wool on the top of it. This time I used some sari silk for the very top of the berry, but I like the way that that one turned out. So that was berry number 4. Then I thought to myself, okay, now I'm going to use this pink cloth napkin that I bought that has the woven fabric on it. I don't want it to be quite as fat as this one, but I do want it to be larger than the other ones. So I just kind of freestyled this one. And this one in a way kind of sort of reminds me more of Michelle's felt carrots because it's taller and thinner, but it's still a berry. So maybe this is a carrot berry. I don't know. But here is berry number 5. And there you can see the texture on the berries. I did some lace on the top, I did some felt on the top, and I did some more chenille on the top. So those were my first 5 berries, but that wasn't enough. It really wasn't enough. But I made those in one afternoon, and it really didn't take very long. But I had bought other fabric at Joann's, and I wanted to try that. So Thursday, which was my next day off, I decided that I was going to see if there were any tutorials on YouTube for making berries. And I found a lady, and I'm going to list her down below because when I typed in how to make a velvet strawberry, she was the first person that showed up. The channel name is Sew, S-E-W, Very Easy. The S, the V, and the E are all capitalized. And the video is called How to Make Fabric Strawberries Any Size. This woman sews. She's got a beautiful quilt hanging in the background. And she has templates. She has templates. She has circular templates. And she said, if you use these circular templates on your fabric and you cut out a circle, any size circle, that's what determines what size your berry will be. And then you take that circular piece of fabric that you've made and you fold it in half and you cut it in half. You now have 2 half circles, or you have the basis of 2 berries. And then she showed how she sewed it all up using one piece of thread for the whole thing, and yeah, that didn't work for me. But I went back upstairs and I thought, okay, I need something up here that is round and circular. What do I have that's round and circular? Well, the base of my daylight is round and circular. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So I cut out a template, or I cut out a piece of fabric the size of the base of my daylight. It's going to make a tiny berry. Tiny berries are okay. I can do that. So she uses poly pellets to fill her berries. I didn't have any poly pellets. I'd used fiberfill to fill the first 5 that I made. But then I thought to myself, I have skull dust, crushed skull dust down in the kitchen. And if you've watched me for any length of time, you know what crushed skull dust really is. It makes a mess. But I came downstairs and I have this teeny tiny little berry. And she had said that when she does her running stitch around the top, she finger presses it down so that when she sews that top piece together, she has a much smoother closure. I hadn't done that on the first 5, but I thought I'd try it with number 6. So, working with crushed skull dust, I do that in the kitchen because it makes a mess. Makes a mess. I have my little strawberry and it's got an opening like, you know, that big around. So I'm using a spoon, and every time I pour some of it into the berry shape, it goes poof, and I have dust everywhere. And I got it as full as I thought I could. And she shows that she overfills her berries with the poly pellets. And when she pulls it together, the excess fall out, but it still makes a nice smooth finish. So I tried to do that with the skull dust. And I made a mess. There was dust everywhere. There was dust everywhere. But I got it closed. And then I cleaned off all the dust that was on the outside of it. And then I went upstairs. And she said that when she makes the cap for her berries, she doesn't use a circle. She cuts out a square of felt. And then she folds that into fourths. And she holds the center, which is the very center of it. And then she kind of cuts out a leaf shape. Kind of sort of worked for me. Anyway, this is berry number 5, a little plaid berry. There's the top with a button on it, and I've got a little ribbon there. But I thought that this was really, really cute. This is the size berry you get if you use the bottom of your daylight as the template. So I thought to myself, I need to find something bigger. What do I have in my house that I can use as a template? Well, if I go downstairs to my kitchen, I have round plates and round bowls and round glasses and round this and round that. So I grabbed a dinner plate and I was looking at it, and it was Papa Bear's chair. It was too big. Then I looked at the soup bowl next to it, and it was a little bit smaller, kind of like Mama Bear's. Wasn't just right. And then I looked at the salad plate, and I thought, ah, Baby Bear, it's just right. So I went upstairs and I made this berry. Also plaid, also with a little bit of lace, with her little leaf template and a button on the top. And I was very, very happy with this one. So now that I have made 7 berries, it was time for me to make the black velvet berry. Ta-da! And it's sparkly, and the top is crooked, and the ribbons on the top. I don't know how to make bows. I tried, and then when I went to stitch it on, it fell apart. So I just kind of stitched and tucked and this and that. But I have a black velvet berry. And I was just beyond tickled with myself that I had all of these berries. So I brought them downstairs. I went through my stuff, and I have this old nut dish, and I have all my berries. 8 of them. It made me realize that the $40 that I'm paying for Under the Woolen Willow for 3 berries is a very good price. And if you want to make berries, they are very easy. Learn from my mistakes. Okay, last video I did a couple of giveaways, and I did the random comment generator and Glendon Place Pretty Pumpkins. This is going to Susanna Warner. Susanna has watched my videos from the very beginning, and every time she comments on my videos, I absolutely love it. I know I have your address, Susanna, but I know that when I put it into my computer, I did something wrong with it. So if you would just send me an email and tell me what your address is so that I can correct it in my address book, I would appreciate that, and I will get this sent out to you. The other one was the Victorian sampler, Stitchin' Witches. So, so cute. This one is going to go to Leanne, who is Morganastitchy Moon 75. Which leads me to the hashtag under 1000 sub club. I have been watching several people talking about this, and I think it's something that we could all do, and it's something that's very, very, very easy. If you're looking at your list of subscriptions, if you see somebody new on YouTube doing videos, even if it's not something that you really, really like, or if they stitch the same things that you do, you could still hit the subscribe button. Because when you reach 1,000 subscribers, you get to do more things with YouTube than you do when you're under 1,000. And you're never going to make a lot of money if you monetize. I monetized my channel when I hit 1,000 subscribers. What I earn from YouTube. Set yourself down, because you're going to be amazed by this. What I earn from YouTube is 0.6 of 1 cent for every ad watched. 0.6 of 1 cent. And YouTube does not mail you any money at all until you've earned $100 at 0.6 of 1 cent. So yes, I've monetized, and I try to make it so that I only have videos at the beginning of mine. YouTube tries to sneak in the ones in the middle. I now know how to go back and fix that. So I try to only have the ads at the beginning. And since I started making YouTube videos, and since I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, I have received 2 checks for a whopping total of $213. I have spent a lot more than that just to make videos. So hit subscribe when you see somebody new to you. You don't have to hit the notification bell, but that helps that person get to 1,000 subscribers, and then maybe they can start earning 0.6 of 1 cent per ad too. Anyway, go check out Leanne, Morganastitchy Moon 75. She has some beautiful things that she does down there, and it's kind of fun to hear her talk about the opposite seasons, because it's spring here, it's autumn there. We have Christmas in winter. They have Christmas in their winter, but it's our summer. Please go check her out. Like, subscribe. If you want to, hit the notification bell. It's entirely up to you. Alrighty. Thursday, when I was thinking about going back and making some berries upstairs, I started a new piece. It's another freebie. This one is by Liz Mathews. I say it that way because I may have accidentally misspelled her name, and Betsy had to comment on the fact that I don't know how to spell Liz. Yeah, whatever. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Betsy. More fun making videos. Yes, I think I'm recording. My camera cut off in the middle of what I was saying, so I had to stop and play with it. And I'm going to pick up at a random spot. I know that I had shared the berries, and I know that I had shared the Always by Liz Mathews. I think I was talking about attorneys. Which leads me to I want to whine just a little bit. I got a jury summons. I got a jury summons for the day after my birthday. Apparently, Marion County wants me because I get jury summons every 2 years. Every 2 years. The first time I got one was right after my granddaughter Rowan was born. In fact, the week that I was supposed to be off to spend time with my daughter and my brand new granddaughter, I had to go to my first jury selection thing. And then 2 years later, I got another one. And 2 years later, I got another one. And 2 years later, they want me every 2 years. So I asked Betsy, and she says, go do your civic duty. But I don't want to, because I know I would make a bad juror. I don't like watching law shows. I think they're boring. And I think that I would not pay attention, and I'd fall asleep. And there's the crone bladder thing, you know, needing to pee every half hour or wetting myself. I haven't done that yet, but you know, it's getting there. I'm going to be older later on this month. So I sent the card back into him. I said, can we defer it to August? Because I have plans for my birthday. And it doesn't include sitting at Marion County Courthouse waiting for them to decide whether or not they want me. It is what it is. Okay, I have a new start. I had shared the picture of this pattern. I found it on an Etsy shop. Let's see if I can hold it up the right way this time. I have not stitched any samplers. I don't know that I will ever stitch samplers per se. I've stitched pieces that have alphabets in them, so does that make them a sampler? Does just stitching on fabric make any of our projects a sampler? I don't know. But doing samplers that are just stitching alphabets over and over again does not really appeal to me. Doing samplers that have houses on them really doesn't appeal to me. But I found this one, and I think it might qualify as a new sampler, because instead of having an alphabet of letters, it has an alphabet of Celtic runes. So this is the pattern. It's an Etsy site. Alice Allen is the designer. And this one, the only thing that I can find as the title is it says Thistle _ Celtic _ knots _ runes. But I really liked this design, and the little smalls that I've been making, all the little thistle smalls. Apparently I have a thing for thistles. I hate them in my yard because they stab you, and that's not fun. But I bought a piece of 32 count white linen. I think I posted a picture of this on Instagram, and the linen doesn't look white on Instagram. It had more of a yellowy tone. It's white. But this is what I've stitched of it so far. Right here, that's the bottom of my stitching right there. This is the top of the leaf. And then I started stitching some of the runes there. And then I started stitching the Celtic knots up here. And this is all stitched in the same color. I think it's 211 DMC. It's a light lavender color. But the beginning of the Celtic knot here is half stitches, and then it moves into full crosses over here. So it kind of looks like it's variegated, but it's one color of floss. Anyway, this is my new start on a new sampler. It's a Celtic sampler. That's what I'm going to call it. It's my Celtic sampler. So that was my second new start for April. that's the one that I'm stitching for my birthday. Obviously, my birthday is not till the end of the month, but since everybody seems to be celebrating birthdays all month long, hint, hint, Anna, when she has her birthdays, I decided that as long as it's within the month of April, I could count this as my birthday start, right? No cross-stitch police, so I can do that. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. But talking of birthdays, another lady that I was watching on Flosstube, Janet Jabber, love watching her videos, and I know that there have been other people that have done this too, and I thought that I want to try to do the same thing. She said that she has a link that you can go to on her videos where you could give her your address, and that way she could randomly send a card or something to you. So I went and I filled out that link, and I thought, you know, I would like to do the same thing. So about a week or so after I did that, I received a lovely Easter card from Janet. And I absolutely love it. Thank you so very, very much. Color me surprised when a couple of days ago I received another card from Janet. This one says birthday wishes. Thank you very much for thinking of me. And she sent this cute little stitched piece in this teeny tiny little baggie. It's a moon. She knows I like moons. And it's got some blue floss on it. And that is just so, so very cute. Thank you for thinking of me, Janet. Thank you for sending me a birthday card. I absolutely loved it. She sent some other little goodies in there, some tags, some floss. Thank you very much. I would like to do the same thing, but when I went to that link that she sent me to go to do the address thing, apparently you have to set it up. And I'm not technical. I don't know how to do these things. So I'm going to go old school. I would love to send out some happy mail randomly to people. If you are interested in having me randomly send out something to you, a card, something journaling related, maybe a random bit of floss, something like that, my email is in the drop box down below. If you sent me an email and titled it Happy Mail, and you sent me your address and maybe the month of your birthday, then I can put it into my address book and I could send out some random happy mail to people who view my videos. So please consider doing that. I also got another piece of happy mail. This time I got some happy mail from Chris Yo. Chris is the lady who made the journal that I bought and that I loved. And like I said, she did the stitch on here. I've added onto it. I've decorated the inside of it. I've added tags to mine and paper clips and various things like that. I love this. She made some new floss jewelry, and she sent a couple of them to me. She took these images and she's quilted them. There is a front and a back to each one of them. There's grommets at the top and the bottom. She sent a floss ring to go with it. So I could use this and put that ring on there, and then I could use it for jewelry on my flosses. She sent me 2 of them. The one with the witch is for me. I'm keeping it because I could do that. I could keep this one too. But I would like to offer this one up as a giveaway for this video. And if you know what to do, which I'm sure you all do now, you don't say giveaway, please be a subscriber. Please like the video. And I don't know, say floss jewelry. And I'll know that you're interested in this and I will send it out to you. So thank you very much, Chris, for thinking of me and for sending me these goodies. The back of it says keep calm and stitch on. I like that. It has a witch on the front. I'm keeping this one. I thought that I would share the other one. I don't know whether that was Chris's intention or not, but it's what I'm going to do with it because I would like to share. Alrighty then. Move that stuff out of the way. Let's go back and look at some more cross stitch. See, I told you I don't do anything in any set order. I just go wherever I want to go. So the next thing that I have been stitching on the last couple of weeks, this is a stitch along that I am doing with Gail Phillips. This is a Mandarinks design. This is the Moon Charm. Love this so much. I am stitching this on, it's on Ada, so it's 16 count Cosmos Ada by Bestitch Me. And that's where I'm at. I was over here, I was starting to work here on this flower, and I realized that this flower here didn't look right. When I was stitching on this the last time, I forgot to color off on my pattern what I had stitched and what I hadn't stitched. And I realized when I went back and looked, I had left a great big portion of this flower all unstitched. So I went back, I filled it in. I love the way these colors pop off this fabric. And I absolutely love, love, love this piece so much. Gail Phillips is also somebody who has less than 1,000 subscribers. So please go check her out. Again, she is another lady from Australia. She does some fantastic pieces. So please go check her out. Like, subscribe. If you want to hit the notification bell, you can. But you know, let's share the love. Let's get people up to 1,000 and beyond. The next piece that I have been stitching on is my Mill Hill Jim Shore Harvest Trio. And that's where I'm at. I am getting all the stitching filled in on the pumpkin, leaving the spaces for the beads, going back and finding the spaces that I haven't filled in that need to be filled in with the stitches, and then I'm going to move up soon and get started on the birds. I realized that when I purchased all the stuff for doing this, on the front of the pattern there's 2 square buttons here and here. I didn't have those. So I contacted Acorns and Threads, and they didn't have them in stock, but I asked them if they would order them for me, and they are. And they'll get here eventually, and since I'm nowhere near having it finished, that's okay. That is okay. All right. So, the only other thing that I have been stitching on is my Alphonse Mucha. I think I'm up to 7 current projects. I mean, I've been doing all the little freebies here recently, which, you know, kind of went up and down and all over the place. I don't like having a large number of projects because I feel guilty that I'm not working on something. And I don't do rotations, and I don't count stitches. I don't do a lot of things. I'm like Cinderella. I'm in my own little corner, in my own little world, and I do whatever I want to do. And that's what I do with my cross stitch. So, I'm going to get up close and personal for a minute, like Darcy, and I'm going to turn the camera. Okay, here is my lady. I am working on her, and I focused on getting this section filled in, which doesn't look like much, but when you look at the overall completed design, it makes sense as to what it is. And now I've gone back and I am trying to work in and fill this area in, and then I will work across the rest of my pages here, because like I've told you before, I stitch across 4 pages at a time. And so this is page 9, 10, 11, and 12, and I think she is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So, I think that is pretty much everything that I wanted to share with you today. Check out your subscription list. If you have somebody, or if you see somebody new and you see that they have less than 1,000 subscribers, subscribe. If you never watch their channel again, you're still helping them out. But hopefully you will check out all the different people and watch and see, because we all stitch different things. We all have different likes, and if we can help each other out simply by subscribing, you know, how simple is that? So until we meet again, my friends, live long and stitch on. Bye-bye.